All right, here we go. Now we're going to do some fun stuff. These are compositions of transformations. So before, we've only been doing one transformation at a time. Now we're going to do two. But lucky for us, you guys are bosses, and we're going to kill it. So here we go. First problem. Find the coordinates of the image, -3, -4, under the transformation dilation of 2 and a rotation of 90 degrees. Well, first, we have to write our pre-image. That's where we always start. So the pre-image is the first point, remember, -3, -4. And so now step 2 says write the first rule. But Mr. Elizondo, which one's the first rule? Is it the dilation of 2? Or is it the rotation of 90 degrees? Well, if you remember, you always start with the last one, or the one furthest to the right. So the first rule is actually that rotation of 90 degrees. So you can go back in your notes and check, or you can just know that rotation of 90 degrees is going to give you -y, x. All right? Remember, you flip them and negate the first. And so so step 3 says translate that point first. So here's our pre-image, -3, -4. And if you label these x and y, it makes it even easier. So a rotation of 90 means I take the y coordinate and I negate it. So if I'm negating -4, it's going to become a +4, right? And then it says the x stays the same. So the x was -3, let's keep it -3. Step 4 says that we write the second rule. In this case, it's the rule you haven't used yet, which is the one furthest to the left. So in this case, it's a dilation of 2. So that means you're going to be doing 2 times the x and 2 times the y. Now, it's important that you recognize that what you're doing the dilation to is this one right here in the middle, right? You don't go back to the beginning, you continue on. It's like a path. You can't go all the way back to the beginning. You go from where you are. So I just take each one of these points and I multiply them by 2. So 2 times 4 is going to give me 8. 2 times -3 will give me -6. And guess what? I am done. Final answer, 8, -6. Not so bad, huh? Let's look at one more. Ooh, multiple choice. It says if the coordinates of point A are -2, 3, what is the image of A under a reflection in the y-axis and a dilation of 3? So step 1 is still writing the pre-image. The pre-image is what they gave us in the beginning. So it's -2, 3. Step 2 says write the first rule. So which one is the first rule? Is it the reflection in the y-axis, or is it the dilation of 3? Remember, you start furthest to the right, or the last one. The first rule we're going to write is dilation of 3, which means we're going to do 3 times the x and 3 times the y. So let's do it. What's 3 times -2? That'll give us -6. 3 times 3 will give us 9. First rule done. Second rule is a reflection in the y-axis, which, if you don't remember, you can check your notes, but it's going to look something like this. We negate the x, and we keep the y the same. So in this case, and actually I'll go back here, remember this is your x, that's your y. If you label them, I think it makes it easier. So what is the negation of -6, or the opposite? Well, +6. And the 9 stays the same. Final answer, 6, 9, which is numero 4, or number 4. And that's basically it with compositions. As long as you remember to start with the one furthest to the right, or the last one. Do this rule first. Then when you do the next rule, make sure that you use these sets of points. Don't ever go all the way back to the beginning, because then you'll get tripped up. And really all they can do is make you do 2 or 3. If you look at your example problems, they're really not that bad. Some of them involve triangles, but realistically, if you can do it to one point, you can do it to them all. So best of luck, and I know you're going to do great.